Last week, Pro Cycling Manager and Tour de France 2025 games were announced. From the announcement trailer, the biggest change this year for both games is something we have been waiting for a very long time. It is that a new graphics engine will be used for PCM 25, Tour de France 2025, the very well known Unreal Engine 5. So what does this change mean? Are there any other changes in career mode, multiplayer mode? And in this video, we will deep dive on everything we know so far about the new editions of both PCM and TDF games. Quick reminder that 81% of you people who watch my videos are not subscribed to the channel, so hit that subscribe button and you don't miss out on any new content. So firstly, yes, the new graphics engine. Looking at the photos and the videos shared so far, the vegetation looks amazing. The new Unreal Engine 5 allows us to see Pro Cycling Manager and Tour de France game in a better graphics version for a very long time. It's a very big improvement on how we see the game. The lighting and how it looks is much closer to real life. I mean, look at this for a photo. It represents the terrain of Australia very well. I mean, if you give someone this picture and say, is this a game or real life? I think they would struggle just a few seconds to realize that it's actually a video game. I think it's been a long time coming since we had a graphical update for this game. So the biggest improvement in graphics, I mean, look at this water, for example. If you compare it to PCM 24 water, I mean, it just looks like dry and bland. And look at this. It's very colorful. The water basically looks like water. The animals look perfect. Yeah, I mean, the game looks stunning. But also the rain. I mean, when it rains in PCM 24 and previous editions, it is barely noticeable. And look at this. Now we've got puddles on the road. The lighting is perfect. In Pro Cycling Manager 24 that it was raining, but we also got like sunlight and it didn't really feel like rain at all. But this time we can really feel the darkness. But looking at these photos, I've also realized some interesting bits that I want to point out. Firstly, this is a graphics engine, not a game engine. So probably the movement, how the peloton goes, in real life, the peloton moves much more, together. But you can see the gaps here as well, peloton riding together, and there's just big gaps between the front of the peloton and the back of the peloton, so the movement is probably not changed with this graphics engine. We can still move left to right, and those blockings, I don't think there will be any change at all from what I've seen so far. Also looking at this, on the left and the right side of the road, the spectators have not changed, and also looking at the riders, the rider model type are not changed for PCM 25. Also, I noticed that we can see the top of Mont Ventoux from starting the climb. That's like 15-20 kilometers distance, and for rendering distance, it's like 5 kilometers, I would say. One thing I've also noticed is that the objects have not changed. So if you look at the buildings on behind, they're actually the same objects used on the older Pro Cycling Manager as well. This bridge as well too. I am myself as a stage maker can recognize all these objects and fences that are used, so I don't see the addition of new objects in this game. It's just the graphics engine making them look better. One concern I have is that PCM and TDF games already are very heavy, so currently we don't know the minimum specifications, they're not out yet. So I sincerely hope that the minimum specifications are not too high compared to the last editions. We've looked at a lot of screenshots and we can definitely conclude that the lighting is great and the game looks so much better. But it isn't the only thing that is announced about PCM and Tour de France 25. So let's deep dive together all the features that are announced for Pro Cycling Manager 25 first. So let's head to the Steam page of Pro Cycling Manager 25. This edition is called PCM 25, not 2025, like the last version, like Pro Cycling Manager 2024. So the first thing we noticed, the planned release date for the game is 5th of June 2025 for both games, that is PCM and Tour de France. And next to that, now we talk about a career mode a little bit. Choose your sponsors as you wish. In Pro Cycling Manager 25, the choice of sponsors is crucial to your team's success. In addition to budgetary advantage, sponsors now have their own additional parameters and conditions to meet if you want them to agree to finance your cycling team. Now, membership conditions depending on your sponsor's territory and nationality, a certain percentage of young people in the team, result requirements, or even an exclusivity condition if they want to be the sole title sponsor. Looking at the screenshot, we have new icons below the sponsors, which represent sponsor requirements or preferences. So in addition to race results, we will have new targets to satisfy the sponsor during a season. It's something that existed before though, so A nice, but a very small addition in my opinion. So if we scroll down a little bit more, a new way of discovering and signing up sponsors. In Pro Cycling Manager 25, as your season progresses, the network of your contacts expand and sponsors will come your way. And now this process starts at the start of the game, so it seems that we will already get some sponsor offers very early on during the season. And here it states, in addition to this mechanism, sponsors interested in your team are now individual. So you can sign up sponsors individually and ensure that your structure has 1 to 3 title sponsors, which is quite realistic. We now see Red Bull, Bora, Hansgrohe, for example, 3 different sponsors in a single team. And it's nice that we can basically sign up sponsors in addition for more cash, basically. And there's a bit of a nice balance here, because here at the top it says exclusivity conditions. So some sponsors will not actually be partnered with other teams. They basically want to be the sole main sponsor of the team. So to summarize, we are getting a more dynamic negotiation phase for sponsors, and since sponsors are basically the financiers of the team itself, it's nice to see additional conditions and requests to boost their happiness. So after sponsors, we're also getting more advanced game options. And yes, looking at the screen here, we've got a difficulty level custom. For example, we can set how hard we want the finances at the start of the game to be. We can do our prize money coefficient on how much of the prize money will actually go to the team budget. Because in real life, the prize money is mostly given to the rider. And from what I know, the riders mostly shared with their teammates because cycling is a team sport. We can change difficulty on sponsor objectives and even transfers. It's quite evident that the transfer system is limiting, but also easy at the same time. Okay, the dossier points really limit on how much signings we can make a year. But in terms of salary, it is quite easy to negotiate with youngsters and especially high potential talents. I really wish it was difficult to sign high potential talents, but in the game it's quite easy. You just go to Jarno Vidar or Paul Seixas, the future superstars, offer them just 5,000 euros a month and sign them a 3-year deal. Well, I'm not sure it changed in this game, but I really hope the developers look at that. We've got level of in-race opponents, obviously, hard, medium, easy. We'll probably have extreme still. So that's basically the gameplay difficulty. But in Pro Cycling Manager, if you change it to hard or extreme, the behavior of the AI does not change, they just get a stat boost. So if you're playing on extreme, you're just basically playing on medium, but with your opponents having more stats than you. And we also have a difficulty for time trial, which is pretty important because in time trial, the AI basically times it to perfection. And if you're playing extreme on a time trial, on a flat time trial of 15 kilometers, there's no way you're going to beat Remco Evenepoel or Ghana. Basically, they're playing with 87, 88 time trial against your rider, and they have no margin for error in any case in flat time trials. So in my case, I will probably change the level of in-race opponents to extreme and keep time trial on hard. I mean, looking at this GIF, we also have a change on sprint difficulty. So we can set sprints to extreme itself. So I think it does impact the AI in some ways. In the Steam page, we also have other new features that awaits us. More customized frames and helmets in the colors of the biggest teams. Well, it's not really a big feature, I guess. You can see that the Ineos have a red Saya road bike, which is unlicensed. But if you play with the World DB and the equipment pack, you will get the equipment of the real teams anyway. Implementation of the option to rename your backups. I mean, you could also do that by just going into the folder directory of PCM and changing it yourself, but it's now possible to change it in-game. I mean, it's not really a feature. A couple of things linked to sponsors, which we've talked about, some accessibility options, AI with more realistic behavior, including better skimming, improved sprint phases, versatile sprinters, and teams that better target hilly stages. We don't have any detail about this, but if it's actually true, the AI could be much more fun in hilly stages and much more harder to win as well. And also finally, promotion and relegations are now based on team rankings at the end of each season. So yeah, as you know, in real life, we got the UCI 3-year ranking system, which means that at the end of the 3-year cycle, the best 18 teams become World Tour. In PCM, it was based on the team ranking, which led to funny moments such as some Chinese team signing a World Tour rider. And then all of a sudden, there's a Pro Conti team with 12 riders, or there's a World Tour team with 18 riders. And since it's based on just a 1-year cycle, we will also see a lot of change between teams and participants of the Tour de France every year. So yes, a very positive change in my opinion. These are all the things announced for Pro Cycling Manager 25 so far, but now let's switch our focus to Tour de France 25, shall we? Yes, also the graphics change is also visible in the TDF25 game. Based on this graphics change, I think the game will be only available on newer gen of consoles. So if you have a PS4, for example, I don't think the game will be out. I'm not sure, but that's what I understand. The equipment part is actually important in Tour de France 25, since the equipment of the game is not moddable like in PCM. Here, actually having Little Trek with a more dark blue bike, since we have to use the unlicensed equipment, the Sire Road equipment, it just looks better, which is a nice touch. About the features of this game though, firstly we have to talk about multiplayer. Last year we had the Criterium mode, and you were in a 6-man lobby with 2 riders, so 12 riders playing a part of the stage. However, it was basically a ladder database, meaning every rider had different characteristics but the same stats, so your opponents would also have the same stat of 2 riders against you. So even if you had Pogacar or Eddie Fine from Cofidis, they would have the same mountain and the hill and the sprint. So it was fun to play it a few times, but yeah, it was just not too active of a mode. Well, in Tour de France 25, we can now create our own private games. We can select the stage, which played the Tour de France. We can do that. Whether we can do that by playing as the 8-rider team or just 2 riders, I'm not sure, but I believe it's probably 2 riders, but let's see. Hope we can use the full Tour de France experience on multiplayer in TDF 25. Next change is within the energy system. Previous system was a bit dumb. Having energy gel basically that boosts your blue or red bar meant funny scenes like trying to take gels with 500 meters to go in an uphill sprint, or trying to use your gel before the feed zone so you get the new gel and use it in the next climb. It is nice getting a change in TDF 25. Now we will have only access to 1 gel in 2 types. Either Energel, what a name, right? Which probably gives long-term energy, or Turbo Gel, which gives immunity for a few seconds. In other words, when attacking, we do not lose energy for a few seconds, making it possible to attack longer to create gaps. It's not a huge change, but it's a nice touch to change the current system. Then new races. Yes, there's always a lot of talk about if we're going to get new races in TDF 25. This year we are getting La Flèche Wallonne, which is a nice addition to the classics period. And obviously Mur de Huy has already been in the game, so to have La Flèche Wallonne is a nice touch. And we also have a new race called Circuit Grand Est. For those who don't know, Grand Est is a region in east of France, basically. That's near Luxembourg and part that borders Germany. So there's a lot of hilly and medium mountain terrain, also some mountains that have been used in the Tour de France in the past, like the Petit Ballon, Grand Ballon. So we'll probably have a new tour somewhere in the calendar with some medium mountain and hilly stages. And for now, that seems to be it. Other new features that awaits us is a additional 5 online rankings in Criterium mode. The Criterium mode being that 12-rider multiplayer. New rewards to unlock, new races of the moment and descents of the moment. New graphic options, redesigned home menu, accessibility options, smoother navigation in the peloton, we'll see how that goes, and reworked sprint AI. In the Tour de France Steam page, actually we have a full blog regarding the change to Unreal Engine 5 from developers' point of view. Main points are the switch to a new engine that took 6 years to finalize, and the last 2 years were spent on making the transition happen. It is a new beginning that will require time to improve all aspects, but the potential is very high. This way, PCM and TDF games use a single technology, and main next priority, according to developers, is to enhance the cycling models and visual representation of the weather impacts. Also, a new stage editor must be built, which is very important to make new races for PCM 25 and future editions, and to convert all old stages. Nearly thousands of races and variants made by the community over years could be made playable in PCM 25, which is absolutely key. So yeah, that's it really. Both games come out in 5th of June 2025. I hope you enjoyed this video. I tried to cover as much as possible. If I've done a lot of talking, sorry about that, but I was just trying to give everything we know so far about the game. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like and I'll see you guys in the next one.